Hey guys, welcome to another week of video game design. Today we are going to go over view types. Um, we've talked a little bit about them in genres because there's some thematic or I guess a verbiage crossover a little bit between genres and game types. And so we are going to go over that today. We're going to talk a little bit about what games there are out there of each type, and I'm going to I have a couple examples for each ones that I want you to know about. And we'll go through, and then at the end, I will give you your assignment for the week so that you can go through and you can get this done. And we'll talk a little bit about it, and you're going to have a quiz on Friday. Okay. All right. So, there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish primary game types that I want you guys to know about. There are some secondary ones going on. There's always, we're never going to always be able to do everything. So we're going to have to trim it down a little bit, but these are the ones that are kind of the most important and are kind of industry standard. And so I want you guys to be able to identify, look at a game and identify whether it's, isometric or top down or whatever. Okay, so the first type of game we are going to look at is known as isometric. And an isometric game is any game where the camera appears to is set at a 45-degree angle, right? And you look down like this, and you look down at the play field at a 45-degree angle. And the camera position generally is fixed at that 45-degree angle. It doesn't pivot around. It stays in the same spot, and then it just follows your guy around as you move, like that, okay? Or as you spin the camera. Sometimes there's games that there's not a focus on a main character. It's just a focus on the overall board. That's still an isometric game. Probably the most iconic isometric game is going to be our first one. Let me pull it up. It is this. It is the Mighty Cubert. Some of you guys probably have played this. I would love for you to be able to play it in the video game cabinet, but, we aren't at school and stuff. So that's a thing. But Cubert, if you look at the way the blocks are done, this is supposed to be a pyramid, and it's at a 45-degree angle, which is why you look at I'm pointing at the thing like you can see it. If you look at these bricks right here, you can see that the camera is at exactly 45-degree angle. Is Cubert actually at a 45-degree angle? No, because Cubert's actually a 2D game, and so you can't see it in 3D. But it's still an isometric game just because of the way the view is done. Okay, Cubert is one. Another one that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Clash of Clans. If you look at the way the camera angle is set up, you can see that everything appears to be at a 45-degree angle. One of the benefits of an isometric view is that it gives you a broad scope of seeing what's going on in your world. Because of that, it lets you see and manage multiple resources. So think about some RTS games that are out there. The RTS genre, the real-time strategy genre, is a very, very popular type of game to run as isometric. So just the big thing is broad view, 45-degree angle. Now there's also some things about 45-degree angle, and they offset the X and the Z by a certain percentage. I don't care about any of that. I primarily want you to be able to look at it and go, yeah, that's isometric. Okay, so isometric is the 45-degree angle. Okay, after isometric, the next one we're going to look at is 2D. So side. From the side, this is the side view game. This particular game is called Celeste. I'm sure some of you guys have played it. This game has made me upset and say lots of swears because it is very, very difficult. It's fun, but it is wildly hard. And it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be like stupidly hard, which is kind of the point of the game. But it's also... the fact that it's infuriating is also why it's fun. I like Celeste a lot. But a side view game, just like the name implies, right? It's a view of the side. Generally, they lend themselves well to the genre type called platformer, that I'm sure you guys remember from the beginning of the semester. This is a really, really good style game. A lot of people really, really enjoy it. Okay. Another one that I like that is a side view game is The Simpsons. This is known as a beat 'em up where basically all you do is just run around and punch stuff. So if you look at our picture here, you can see that Marge is actually higher than Homer and Bart right here. So they are operating in something that appears to be in a 3D space. So would this be an isometric game? Well, the answer to that would be no, because the camera's not at a 45-degree angle. And realistically, them operating in the 3D space is a bit of an illusion. They're not actually operating inside of a 3D space. So this is a side view. Okay? Side scrollers are usually side views. Okay. Our next one that we're going to look at. Some of you might recognize this game. It's very good. Legend of Zelda. Not the OG, but it's still good. This is Legend of Zelda. The starting Legend of Zeldas are actually known as a top-down. So the camera is above the map, looking straight down. So again, we get into the thing of, some of you guys are looking at this saying, but you can see his feet. So this is an isometric. It's not because of the way, this is just a rendering trick that they use. So it looks like it's an isometric, but when the gameplay goes, you walk up, down, left, right, you are walking in a vertical space. So even though they use shadows and some camera angles on, say, like the house right here, to make it look like this is an isometric game, it's not. This is a top-down. Okay? Our next top-down that we're going to look at is a game that is wildly popular on Steam right now. It's been in the top 10 in Steam for quite some time. This is a game known as Stardew Valley. It's basically like a farming simulator. It's good. It's fun. My daughter loves it a lot. But this is also a top-down. If you look, again, it appears to be an isometric. But is it? No, because the board there's not really any space vertically for it to taper off, for it to go further off into the distance. When your guy stands at the top of the screen or when your guy stands at the bottom of the screen, he's not any closer or further away from you, right? If we look back at, there we go. So this, you can tell clearly that this one is closer to you than that cannon in the back, right? So this is closer, that's further away. Whereas if we look at Stardew Valley, oops, wrong one. Stardew Valley, if your farmer is standing right here, or if your farmer's standing right here, you're not any further or closer away from the player because it's a top-down. Okay, so this is definitely a top-down. Okay, all right. Our next up, the classic first-person shooter. This is Halo. A first-person shooter is you take the view of the player like you are the player. It's first person, meaning that you are in the position of the character in the game. Halo is a great example of it. Call of Duty, Doom. If you look at one of the OG Doom maps, this is really, really cool. I go back as I look at this, and one of the things that kind of weirds me out is from the first person perspective, most modern games have gone to where the gun is kind of off at the side, like it's real, because that's how it looks. But if you look at some of the older first persons, the gun goes right down the middle. But, like, I don't know. I don't have anything to hold like a gun. Here's my TV remote, right? You hold your gun like this, not like this. Like, if you imagine holding your shotgun like this and pulling the trigger, you're going to give yourself a bloody nose and knock your teeth out. Okay? But a lot of the old FPS games look like that. Okay? First person, shooter, Halo, Doom. Okay. What would you call this? Would this be an FPS? Yeah, it would. So this is Forza. This is an FPS in the sense of you are in the first person view and you're driving down the road and you're following your racing line and you have your rear view mirror and your side view mirrors. This is a first person view, but Forza is generally not played that way. Forza is usually played this way. So what is this? Is Forza an FPS, or is Forza whatever this is? Okay, so some games have multiple options for views. You don't have to play FPS in Forza. In fact, if you want to play Forza, it's better to not play in FPS because FPS gives you more limited views. It's harder to see what's going on. So, Forza is known... Some of you guys might qualify this as what's called a third-person view. This is not actually a third-person view. This is known as fixed camera, meaning that the camera sits in a position and it stays there, and whatever you do happens in front of you, okay? But it's called a fixed camera. Forza generally is considered a fixed camera game. So you have the view of the car, you can see behind the car, you can do whatever. Whereas this viewport in Forza is first person, okay? There's also a method of Forza that it puts the camera on the front bumper of the car. That's also probably not going to be considered first person. That's fixed camera, but in a different way. Okay, so fixed camera is our next that we're going to get into. We have fixed camera. We also have Star Fox. Star Fox OG game. This is also a fixed camera view. You're flying your spaceship, you're going around, you're blowing stuff up. Okay, this is a fixed camera view because it's behind. Okay, a subset of fixed camera that's similar to fixed camera but has become so wildly popular, so used in gaming that it has its own name is called a third-person shooter or third-person view. Also known as OTS view or over the shoulder, meaning that it's a third person view. The camera is behind my character, but I'm looking essentially over their shoulder into the view. Third person view is popular in shooters because it allows you to do something called corner peeking, whereas you have a greater view of what is going on in your area. But you're still playing a shooter in the same way that you're playing Halo. Okay. So this is way old Fortnite. Okay. Another third-person shooter that I really, really enjoy is Warframe. Okay, this is Warframe. You can see we're still kind of in that over-the-shoulder mode. But this is a camera position of third person. Okay, so you can see your character. Benefits of third person. Why would a developer choose third person over first person? I think Destiny and Destiny 2 are prime examples of first versus third person, in that when you are in a mission in Destiny and Destiny 2, you are in first person because they feel like that's the best gameplay for their game. But when you are running around town in a neutral zone, you are in third person. The reason you're in third person in Destiny in town instead of being in first person, it would have been simple for them just to make it first person, right? But the reason you are in third person when you are in town in Destiny is so that you can see your character. Destiny did a lot of work on designs and armor sets and making your guy actually look cool. Excuse me. If you don't look cool, then you care less about the gear and you care less about what your character looks like. And so what they've done, what Destiny has done, is made it so that your character has a certain look and feel. The look and feel attaches you to the character more, and then you go from there. You begin to grind and to get things that make it so that you want to make your character look better. Okay, that is our major sets of viewports that we're going to go over. Quick review, we had isometric, we had side view, we had top down, we have first person, we have fixed camera, and we have third person. Okay, those are the ones that I need you to know about. Here is your assignment. I want you to create a Word document or a PowerPoint or whatever, however best is for you to get your information to me. I don't care. I need you to describe for me in a sentence or two each one of these different viewports. And I want you to find screenshots from 2 games for each one that show me that a quintessential of that type of view. Okay, here is the caveat. You may not use any game that I put in the video. So I've tried to limit the discussing of other games, but you cannot use any game that I've included in the video. You have to find your own. Okay. On Friday, you will have a quiz. We'll open up in Canvas. You need to go in and take your quiz. You will have a week to take the quiz, and the quiz will just have a bunch of different games and different views, and then you can go in and tell me whether or not it's first person, third person, isometric, whatever. Okay? That will open up Friday, so make sure that you try to get your assignment done, this part of the assignment done before that. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to let me know. And your assignment is in Canvas. So get to work. Next week, I have another assignment for you. It'll be your last major assignment that you have. There's a couple quizzes we have to take. But your last major assignment will be next week. It is your game design document. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means, what it does, what it is. And then you're going to make one. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good week.